What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in this evening here for those of you in Asia, Malaysia, and all those countries. And thanks for and big up to all those of you in Europe. I think it's pretty early morning or I think afternoon lunchtime around that time here. Uh, Thanks to all those of you who are joining me live right now, or especially some of you who will be watching this later. Uh, Where to start? I think we all know that the game versus Leicester didn't go as per our expectations. Many of us expected a relatively easy game, and we expected kind of like I think we didn't expect it that we'll get bashed this badly. And I was just earlier this morning on a friend's channel, and he had a title of that video. What the heck was that? And I was like, yeah, what the heck was that? What on earth just happened? Really, like 4-1 bashing by Leicester, the team that is about to get relegated. And not just that, we lost our midfielder Rodrigo Bentancur to an injury. The defensive line was again as usual shambolic. No guts shown in that game from either one of the three at the back, and we lost. Firstly, we scored a goal by Rodrigo, and then after that, we conceded 4 goals. Like what happened? Seriously, like I was on a live stream with another friend of mine just last night, and we were just like laughing at us. I mean, honestly, I didn't expected this kind of result, and it's kind of still hard to digest what happened over the night. And I thought let's just share certain thoughts. And I've been looking at Twitter, and I've been hearing some of the streams and going around. And to be honest, to a certain extent, fans are to blame for it. The local fans there who don't go for protests, who are even if you don't go for protests, but even the way actually some of us have been defending Enoch and Levy, that has been the problem. I think we clearly saw what happened there. And after that game, some of the injuries that have taken place, we clearly know that we lack depth. You will realize that if on the Champions League game, we'll be playing Sar and Skip in the midfield, that's not going to be easy. That's not going to be a walk in the park again versus AC Milan if you have Sar and Skip in the midfield. So I really don't know what to say about that, but it's shambolic stuff really. And there are a lot of myths going on, and there are a lot of assumptions going on, which really don't settle well with me. The kind of excuses that I've been hearing for this game. Some people say that, oh, Conte is playing Son in not his natural position. The amount of blame that Conte is getting, it really pisses me off. I don't think he's the one to blame for in this game, definitely. The other one that we have been hearing is Pedro Porro is another bang average player. Pedro Porro is not bang average player. You you probably need to give him some time to settle in. The other one that we've been hearing is Tanganga was way better than Dyer. I agree. Being somebody who defends Dyer here and there, I agree that Dyer had a bad game, but to say that Tanganga had a way better game than Dyer is an absolute exaggeration of that fact. Tanganga was as bad as Dyer, or maybe if he was better to a certain extent, was like point 0.1 or point 0.2. If you don't believe me, go to SofaScore, check the ratings, and you'll realize that there's no way that Tanganga was way better than Dyer. I just read a comment this morning on one of the channels somebody made that, oh, Eric Dyer was 0 out of 10 and Jeffet Tanganga get 5 out of 10. Absolute bollocks. That's you exaggerating, and that's the why you enable people like Levy to actually trust on people like Tanganga. That's why Tanganga is still there. He has not gone out on loan. That's why our backline is not filled, because there are people like you who enable our board to keep this kind of players. There's no way you can actually say that Tanganga was way better or Tanganga was like a class. Some people are even saying that oh, Tanganga should be the one playing in our backline. No way. Tanganga was as bad as any of the back three. Davis had a relatively better game than the two, but nothing that he could do as well when he was needed. So it's unfair assessment to actually just point a finger at one defender and not the others. The other one that actually I that has been really pissing me off is the agenda against Sun Heung-min. I don't know what some people has a problem with Sun. Some have been saying that, oh, drop Sun for Denjuma. If Sun is not playing well, why don't you just drop him for Denjuma and play Denjuma there or Richarlison there? We all know that Richarlison has been quite average in those positions. He has he has a he has his liabilities as well. We have seen Richarlison play in that position, and he has been not good enough for us. We all know that. And to say that yes, Richarlison deserves a chance and stuff like that, I don't know which world you are living in. First of all, it's really an unfair assessment again, because like my friend Will Stewart always say that form is temporary, class is permanent. And Sun is a classy player. You can count on him whenever you need him. You can't count on Danjuma game in, game out. He has done nothing to prove his place in the team. Uh, and there are a lot of critics being thrown on and saying that, oh, it's the problem with Conte's tactics and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, 3-4-2-1 is not working, 3-4-3, and all of that. I mean, we all need to understand this is not a tactical problem, is not alone a technical problem. Uh, I mean, I predicted the same lineup as what Conte put on because I think those were the best options that he had in the team to play because our squad does lack depth. You don't have a defender like Guardiol or you don't have a defender like Milan Skriniar to actually play replace Dyer, Tanganga, or Sanchez or whoever back there. So I think it was something that Conte had to do deal with. We really don't have a back line that can cope up in this kind of games. So that result was expected. But now to say that Pedro Porro is defensively not good, I agree. I agree. And I think I said that in one of the earlier streams as well. Pedro Porro has his defensive liabilities. He's not the best of the defenders because for defense, you do rely heavily on your for your defense, you do have to rely heavily on your backline. You can't rely on a wing back to defend as well as the backline. If your backline is not good enough, I think they are not supporting your wing backs. Wing backs are supposed to defend. Yes, I do agree to a certain extent. Wing backs are supposed to defend, but in that system, wing backs need that support from the center backs as well. And Pedro Porro is not one of the best defenders, unlike Emerson Royale. So those of you who are now having a dig at him, like, okay, there's something really wrong with you. You really need to go back and check his stats. He's not a defender per se. He is a good wing back. He is not a defensively good player. He's the kind of player who make runs forward, who support the wingers or the midfielders or whatever you want to call it, the inverted wing backs or inside forwards and whatever. He's the kind of player who supports them with his crosses. His crossing ability is great, but he is not a defender per se. He's not the kind of player who can make those tackles like you see Romero making, or sometimes you see Langley making. He is not that kind of player. He's not one of the best tacklers in the world. He can take the balls and he can actually make recoveries, but he is not a defensive player. And there's nothing wrong with it because on the wingback system, you have to be you need to have some form of defensive capabilities, and he has certain defensive capabilities, but he's not the best of the defenders. So to put the blame of that Leicester disaster on Pedro Porro is utterly unfair. If I must say, it's unfair. And if you are saying that Pedro Porro has to take is like bang average, oh, why did we buy him and all of that nonsense, please stop it. Please stop it right now. Go and check the stats. Go and do some research on the player. One of the player problems I think with our fan base is we can be sometimes a bit lazy. We just see what we see on the day itself. Go and look at the stats, go and check the websites, go and do some research on the player, go and do some research on the 3-4-2-1 system. How does it work? What are the roles of every player? What are the roles of, if I might be doing a video actually on 3-4-2-1 system in the coming days as well. Go and realize what are the, how does the system work, and then say that yes, Pedro Porro is not good. You'll realize that in the role that Pedro Porro is playing, he did exactly a good job. If you want to look at the heat map, you can actually go on SofaScore and all those websites, and they will show you the heat maps. Actually, according to his heat map, he did a pretty decent job. There was no way actually he can be said that actually he had a poor game, because he was playing first time. And I think he only had like few training sessions at Antonio Conte. I know he didn't play the last game as well. He was down with his with that particular. I think he had some form of viral infection. I don't know what happened to him. Uh, he picked up a certain fever or something. He was down. He was down ill. So to say that he is bang average and take a dig at him is completely unfair. I am I'm a bit sad actually to see that some fans are actually having a dig at him, and also some of the tweets and stuff like that. Honestly, it's pretty annoying, seriously. And I still don't know why certain people are still defending Inik and Levy. Uh, because if you don't realize it, you'll realize it actually now, when we don't have Hoiberg, we don't have Bentancur in the next Champions League game, who you're playing Sar and Skip in the midfield. Then you're gonna realize that our squad lacks a major depth. You can't play Sar and Skip in a Champions League game. I mean, I personally don't expect him to play. I think Conte might have to be a bit more pragmatic, and when he'll be pragmatic as well, I think he's taking a risk. He has to take certain form of responsibility for it. Definitely yes, but I'm pretty sure that yes, if any form of pragmatism don't work out in the Champions League game as well, fans are again gonna have a dig at Conte. This is another problem we would definitely see. That, oh, why did Conte play, like, let's say if he plays Denuma in the midfield, or if he plays, like, let's say try Emerson in the midfield or something like that. That's gonna be another issue. So I don't know. I mean, if any of you want to have an argument with me on that Pedro Porro thing, that Pedro Porro is a bang average player, or you want to blame Sunny, the link is in the chat. I pinned it up there. Come join me on StreamYard and let's have a chat over that. Let's have a chat and see where does it go. If you can actually prove that to me that Pedro Porro has a bad game, or if you can prove it to me that, oh, Conte is to blame for it, or if you can come and say that, oh, Sun is the problem, Sun is the main issue, or the other one some people are saying is, oh, Sun is supposed to play as a winger. No, Sun is not a winger currently in this game. He used to play as a left winger. He's not playing as a left winger. And the other one, somebody just made a very, very, very irrational comment. Sun is an inverted winger. No, Sun is not an inverted winger. He's either as Mezzalela, which is like a number 10 role, or you can call it an attacking midfielder role, or sometimes you can even call it inside forward. Like, let's say if in a certain formation, or some people call it a shape, he has to go forward, then he goes forward as a midfielder, who you can refer to as inside forward in that system, to go forward and score those goals. That's what Sun is like. He is not a proper left winger in 3-4-2-1 system, or even if it's 3-4-3. You don't see him even as an inverted winger. And so to say that Sun is an inverted winger is absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. You need to research a bit on what the formations are like, and what are the types of wingers, and that kind of stuff. You really need to get it checked. So I mean, that's that's what I think we don't do as fan base, and we lack that problem there. Like, we we have this problem. We are too quick to jump the gun, and I think that's a problem, seriously. So I mean, I'm pretty disappointed the way actually we have been having digs at certain certain players, and especially the ones that are aimed at manager. I mean, that one pretty much annoys the heck out of me, seriously. Uh, so let's stop it there, because I think Antonio Conte is a good manager. You can be critical about him on certain things, but to say that, oh, Conte is the main problem, and then the other one, have Stellini in. I think that's one of the very funny ones that I've been seeing on Twitter, that, oh, Stellini could win the City game, Conte and Conte can't even win against Leicester. Didn't you all watch the game last year when we had Burnley? We lost to Burnley, and the game before that, actually, we did win against City. Uh, it was Conte both time. And even then, this is a tendency that our team has. We just lack consistency, and a couple of injuries do pose a problem to us, or a suspension. It does pose a problem to us. It's so you can't say that actually it's Conte's fault. It's never Conte's fault when Conte can actually win against City in the previous season, and if this season he was not there and his assistant is the one actually who plays there. But we all know that actually the system, the way the players play every week in week out, is actually built by Conte's text. It is not Stellini. Stellini, yes, I do give him a credit that, yes, in absence of Conte, he did a great job actually for that game. Yes, he did a great job. But to say that, oh, there's nothing, to take everything out of Conte and to not give any form of credit to Conte is pretty unfair. And I mean, Twitter has been going on around that, oh, Stellini in, Conte out. Guys, seriously, which planet are you from? Like, please try and use your mind, use your brain. It's not how it works. Still, I mean, despite the fact Conte was out, I think a lot of decisions still would have been inspired from Conte's tactics, or what he works in week out with the team. Although that, yes, Conte may have been a bit hands off for that particular City game, or even maybe I feel that maybe Leicester game he came in a bit off. He may have been a bit hands off, but you all need to realize that, well, that Stellini is Conte's assistant. Stellini is Antonio Conte's assistant. He has been working with him, I think, now for a lot of years. So they play very much similar tactics. So you can't just say that, oh, Stellini in, Conte out. It just doesn't work that way. Seriously, guys. Like, there are certain things that actually work out in games. There are certain tactics. There's this tactical aspect of things. There's a coaching aspect of things, and we can't just fully ignore it, because you need to embrace the fact that, again, Conte does deserve a credit for raising up Stellini as well, sowing into his coaching career. So it's unfair, seriously, to say that. There's a lot more to it, and I mean, if anybody of you in the chat, I mean, would like to come on and have your say. I mean, it's really early. I mean, I didn't expect many of you to come on, but if any of you want to come on and talk about this game, feel free to. I would be very much looking forward to hear from you, whatever you all want to say, and stuff like that. So I mean, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to hear if you have a different perspective, or if you disagree with whatever I have shared so far. Come and share your uh, come and share what you have to share about. I'll be very much looking forward to hear from you. So I think it's just two of you there in the chat. If you are there and you would like to join the chat, just hit the subscribe button. I think the subscribers mode is on, so you can subscribe, and let's and share your thoughts. And then also the link is in the chat. You can click on it and come up and share your thoughts on the game. If you disagree with me on any of the parts, like, come and have your say. So let's just go through the lineup and some of the stats. I mean, I was just looking at. Um, Give me a minute, guys. Sorry, I'm feeling a bit under the weather as well. It's been a bit of a rainy day here in Malaysia, so I'm feeling the effects of it. So the lineup was that We have Fraser Foster in goal, Jeffrey Tanganga in as a right centre back, and Eric Dyer and Ben Davis as two centre backs. Eric Dyer in the middle, Ben Davis towards the left, Pedro Porro towards the right wing back position, and we had Pierre Emil Hoiberg as the right midfielder, and Rodrigo Bentancur was on the left side of midfield. I don't know. Usually, Rodrigo Bentancur plays as on the right side, and usually we see Hoiberg, but I think it's due to the heat maps, I suppose, that Bentancur is nowadays shown a little bit more towards the left on the SofaScore ratings. You can actually go at sofascore.com and all the stats are there. Ivan Perisic is on the left wing back, and Kulusevski on the right wing, or you can call it the right midfield position behind Harry Kane, and Heung-min Son on the left, and then Harry Kane all the way up front. So that's what our lineup was like, and I think the lineup wise, I think that's the best I guess Conte could do. So there's nothing much that actually we can blame Conte on for the lineup and stuff that happened there. So uh, I just wanted to go through one other thing that happened. Fraser Foster. Um, a lot of fans have been saying this point in the past as well. That, oh, drop Hugo, drop Hugo. We want Fraser Foster, and I was one of them actually. I did say that yes, give Fraser Foster a try if Hugo is struggling. But I think we can see currently that Hugo is the best goalkeeper in our team right now. He is injured, so there's no chance that we can play someone else. So we have seen now what Fraser Foster has to offer. He has his liabilities as well. He's not one of the best, and we could see his struggles. And I think yesterday he could save one or two goals. Uh, Two of the goals, I think personally, I feel were Hugo's fault. One of them was definitely, like you can say, sorry, not Hugo's fault. Definitely not Hugo's fault. Don't quote me on that. It's Fraser Foster's fault. And the other one I feel is that the Eric Dyer and combined with Fraser Foster, they both have to take a bit of a blame for I think the third goal because it was a misunderstanding between the two. Uh, they that particular goal was just like they could, I think the goalkeeper should have saved that particular goal. So Fraser Foster has to be blamed for to a certain extent. He has to take certain critics as well. He was not good enough in yesterday's game, and that's why I think I've been saying that all this while that why Conte has been playing Hugo. He has his reasons. Although yes, Hugo has his problems. Hugo has his issues, but he is still our best goalkeeper or the best option that Antonio Conte has to go with. So you can't blame Hugo for everything. Although Hugo does make mistakes, but Conte doesn't have a better option. And I think all those fans who have been actually wanting Fraser Foster in and Hugo out and what all that nonsense. Some people were even saying that we should just sack Hugo and we could just end up his career. If let's say you have a better goalkeeper, you have a goalkeeper who can come in and immediately settle in. Like let's say you have Martinez or Livakovic, one of those goalkeepers, or even let's just say David Raya, then I think it really makes sense for Hugo to be dropped and let's say have one of those players joining us instead as our number one goalkeeper. But let's say until you don't have a class goalkeeper, you can't sack Hugo. However, now looking at the current situation when Hugo will be out for now, I think 2 or 3 more months, I think we may not even see him again because this injury can prove to be a pretty heavy one. I think we may not see Hugo again playing. Uh, and I think in summer we really do need a new goalkeeper because a knee injury at Hugo's age, especially an ACL, is pretty scary. And I think for a goalkeeper who rely very much on his reflexes, um, it's gonna be tough for Hugo to recover to come back. I really don't think that we will see anything from Hugo again this season or even in the next season. So it's time that Enoch has to buy a goalkeeper for us. If you feel that Enoch shouldn't be buying a goalkeeper for us, Hugo is enough, or Fraser Foster is enough. That is another problem. I think Enoch must buy a goalkeeper for us. Levy must buy a goalkeeper for us in summer, because after an ACL, I think you can't expect much from Hugo anymore, because after this injury, he is just. I think his career is almost finishing, especially since he has now dropped out of the French national team as well. He's only going to be playing for club. Uh, I think Hugo's career is finished in a way, due to this injury. Not so much of what happened in the past, or I'm not saying that, yeah, we should sack him, but due to this injury, it would be very difficult for him to recover. It would not be easy for him to just straight away go into games and start playing well. So Hugo Hugo replacement is very much needed, and we need a player. We need a goalkeeper like Livakovic, Martinez, one of those players to come in and play for us, because we need a class goalkeeper. We can't just rely on somebody as just a second choice. I know that this been this news going on around on Ben Foster, and I think on the Leicester preview as well. I did discuss that aspect of the game too. That Ben Foster might be able to come in and say, like, yeah, I mean, when you have Hugo out, you can't just take a risk as well. So if, let's say, that thing does happen, I mean, I won't be against this, because I've had chats with some people who are pretty close to Ben Foster in Watford. So I was having a chat with one of the former Spurs players who used to play for Watford alongside Ben Foster, and he said that Ben Foster is one of those goalkeepers that, let's say, if he was given a time under a top club, under a good manager, he would have really thrived. So I mean, even though he's in retirement, I'm okay to give him a chance. I'm fine with that, but he can't be our long term option as well to replace Hugo, or to Ben Foster just can't be our long term option. I can see it's three of you who are watching it right now. So if you would like to come on and have your say on the game and just join me on StreamYard, come join me and have your say, share your thoughts on the game. Like, what are your post match analysis? Whatever you would like to share, just come in. The link is there in the chat, or just share your thoughts in the chat even as well. I do understand I do understand it's pretty early, and it was a pretty random live stream, so I think it's just me or just hearing from me. I couldn't get a guest on to share your thoughts as well. But if you're in the chat, just join me. Just join me. Click on the link below and share your thoughts on the game. How was the game like for you? If you disagree with anything that I've just shared earlier, on Pedro Porro, on Hugo, on Sunny, and all those things, on Conte criticism, Stellini in Conte out, any of the topics you would like to discuss, come and join me live and have your say on this link. It's there in the chat. I think I've pinned it. If you can't access it, just let me know. I'll share it with you if you're one of the friends that I know from WhatsApp community, or you're there on my WhatsApp. Share. Drop me a text and I'll share the link with you. So yeah, that's one thing. Now, Stellini in Conte out agenda. I think we were just discussing about that. I think that's pretty bizarre. I'm not for it, uh, because I think this is gonna be a that is going to be a disaster if we are really on that note. Like, we want to go with something like that. It's utter dross. Like, it's really pathetic to think that way. That, yeah, you can have Stellini in and you can have Conte out. Uh, it's not gonna work. It seriously won't work. So I am. I would love to have a chat with you and hear your thoughts. What where do you stand on that? If you really want Stellini in and you want Conte out, I think you're making a judgment way too quick. Go and read a bit about Antonio Conte, his system. Stellini as an assistant, he has done well. I do applaud him as well. But to say that Stellini can be the head coach of Spurs and Conte just would sack him. I mean, even it doesn't work professionally. Also, it doesn't work that way. There are contracts, and uh, they are they are all tied under one manager. You can't just have it. Seriously, like, even under a professional setup, it's a pretty tricky thing to hope for. So it's just not the way forward. And again, the problem is actually our squad depth. It's not the manager. It's not the It's not the players. It's not just the players who you can blame for as well, because players can just give you what they can offer. Um, Enoch has to take the blame again to a certain extent. The fans who have been enabling Enoch to stay in and to not span and to just have that uh, mediocre mindset is a problem. Now the other one actually, no, the other thing actually I would like to talk about is the top four hopes, and uh, I've been hearing this on channels as well, and I've been seeing this on Twitter as well. Like Conte has been backed, and some are even saying that okay, Conte has been back, but he's not back to win trophies. He has been back to take us to top four. Like the kind of players that he has been given are the kind of players who can actually take you to top four, but not the trophies. Uh, you're not wrong when you say that that Conte has been back to take us to top four and not win trophies. Yes, maybe that's the typical Levy and Enoch mindset that yes, they will back and they want top four. They want to go into the Champions League every season because it gives you the revenue, it brings in the money and all that and earnings and stuff like that. It's true. It's true. Yes, that's the mediocre mindset that Levy and Enoch has, that they will actually back the manager only to reach the top four. However, there's a problem with it. When you are backing a manager for a top four position only, and your rivals, which includes Manchester United, it includes um, Arsenal, it includes Man City, it includes Newcastle, it even includes Chelsea to a certain extent, because I don't think Chelsea, when they back their manager to like where they are right now. They had their circumstances and they had their issues. 5 to 6 teams in there are aiming for the top spot. They want to win the league. The kind of signings they are making, you can tell that they want to win the league. They want to win the league. And when we make our signings, we are the kind of team who are making our signings based on just we want to just reach top four. Definitely there's going to be an issue with it. If you are just making your signings based on the top four hopes, and your rivals are making their signings considering that they want to win the league, I think you're realizing where I'm going. You will definitely fall behind them. You will definitely fall behind those 4 or 5 teams ahead of you who are making the signings, who are spending money, or who are ambitious enough, or buying players that can take them to another level of winning the titles, winning the league, winning the cups, and you are just making your signings purely based on that. Okay, we want to get top four. You're gonna fall way behind them. And then the other thing is that okay, we will go into summer and we will improve our squad depth. Okay, this is not the right time. Okay, we just give it a window by window. Okay, this window will improve the wingbacks. That window will improve the midfield. There's a problem with this narrative as well. Once you do that, your players are aging as well. Your players are dropping in their form as well. You have Kane, your Son, your players like let's say Eric Dyer, they are not gonna they stay forever. You have players like Perisic even. If you're waiting for window by window to actually upgrade your squad, it's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. Your players age, your players drop in their form, your players leave. Sometimes they get moody. You can just see an example actually right now what happened with Man City with that whole Joe Cancelo issue. Joe Cancelo was having issues with the manager. He wants out. One day, if let's say one of our top players are going to have an issue, and then he wants to go out, and some of the players don't following his steps, and then they want to leave, and then Levy and Enoch are not willing to spend in that window to actually buy more players, you are going to fall way behind, because your mindset is to buy players window by window, improve positions window by window. There's in a way there's nothing wrong with it, but you have to be fast with that process. You have to give the best in your team every window. You have to address the problems of the window every window. You have to address the problems of the squad every single window. You can't just rely on you can't just rely on players to You can't just rely on players like Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, Jeffet Tengenga, Davinson Sanchez, and not address the backline issues. In this January window, we should have bought at least one center back. Where is that one center back? I've been saying that okay, if you don't want to buy like two or three center backs, just buy one left-sided center back or one central center back like Milan Skriniar. Go for those players. At least bid for it. At least try something. Why are we not even trying that? It really pisses me off. I am damn angry right now. When centre back was a problem, why didn't we address it in the January window? Why did we go for a player like Dan Yuma when your front three are doing well? Why would you go for a player like Dan Yuma and address that? I know yet that yes, you brought him on a loan. Why can't you bring in a centre back on the loan? Why didn't you prioritize that position first? It really pissed me off. I know that yes, I've been actually defending Eric Dyer and all of that because Dyer is your only choice right now in the center back. You can't play Davinson Sanchez or Jeffet Tanganga in that position over Eric Dyer. Despite the fact that Dyer is bad, Dyer is still your best choice that you can actually put in. You don't have anybody behind him to come in as your first choice center back in that position that Dyer plays. You can't put Tanganga there, you can't put Sanchez there, and that's why Conte is choosing his best player in that role because he doesn't have anybody. And in the January window, we haven't addressed that issue. The center backs have not been bought in the January window. Dyer has to take the blame. Yes, he has to take the blame. He has been average. He has been shitty. He has been making mistakes. Yes, he has been. But you have nobody behind him who can come and replace it. Whose fault is that then? Is it just Dyer's fault? No, it's Inic and Levy's fault. Again, I'm not defending Dyer, but he is still your best option in the back line. In the back line of three, he's still your best option alongside Romero for that central role. You can't play Langley there. Yeah, I know that some people say that okay, why didn't you play Langley there and then Romero at the right? You just can't play him there because we have seen his performances as well. His pace has dropped as well, and he has made certain errors as well. The games where we did drop Eric Dyer as well, we saw the liabilities of Clement Longley as well. So to actually put blame purely on the players or the Conte's choice of starting 11 is absolute bollocks. Absolute bollocks. And if somebody say that you can actually defend that particular choice that Conte has been making, if you can defend that particular choice that Levy has been making, if you can defend Levy still in this particular situation, if you can say that okay, Dyer is the only one to blame for, or that is the main problem that actually we are going to lose games, come and join me live on the link is there. Have your argument, share your thoughts in the chat, and I'll address it. I'd love to have a conversation with you if you think otherwise, because I don't think it's purely fair to just blame players when you don't have the replacements in your team. It's unfair. They have to take responsibility, yes, but you just can't say that okay, they are the only liabilities in the squad. The real liability in Tottenham Hotspur right now is its board, and the board must buy players in summer. Now they must address these problems in summer when it comes. They should have actually addressed these problems in January window. They should have addressed these problems in January. The center back issue should have been resolved in January. We did want a midfielder. The midfield issue should have been addressed in January as well. And now you can actually see that in the Champions League game when we are going to play Sar or Skip in the midfield. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a big issue. But yeah, those are the best players you have in your team to play in the midfield right now. When Højbjerg is suspended, Bentancur is injured, because Inic and Levy didn't spend much, you are actually gonna see a major, major, major fall in form. And as confident as some of us are about the Milan game, I think I won't say that I am optimistic. I have certain form of confidence going into that game because AC Milan's form has not been great lately as well. But I am now more nervous than I was about this particular game going into the Milan game because it's not going to be easy as well. I just did an analysis on that game with Will Stewart just a couple of days ago, just 2 days ago actually. I'll be uploading it either I'll be uploading that on my channel tomorrow, so do catch up on that as well. So yes, there are problems with the Milan side as well currently. They We have to be a bit more pragmatic and a bit more creative in our choices of the players that we would be playing for the Milan game. Otherwise, we are going to fall behind badly. And Sar and Skip are just not good enough for that game. So I think I've shared my peace of mind on this game, and I think many of you are have known my thoughts and what where do I stand on this game, on all those controversial issues and all those funny tweets that I've been seeing, all those funny comments that I've been seeing on channels. I've shared my opinion on that, and I stand firmly on that. Again, once again, we need to address all these problems still. As a fan base, I think we can't be lazy. We can't be, and when I mean lazy, please just don't be lazy to just believe one tweet on Twitter that says one thing and not verify it. When people tweet on Twitter that, oh, Pedro Porro has been bang average, we have a tendency, okay, yes, he has been bang average. When we hear one person saying on YouTube that, oh, Pedro Porro was not that great, why did we buy him and all that? Don't just don't just believe it. Think critically. You have a sound mind. You've been given a sound mind. Think with that sound mindedness that you have been gifted with or blessed with. Don't just take it for granted, and 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 analyze it yourself. Research a little bit. There are websites out there. There are books out there. There's a lot of resources out there. And I think if you're watching this video itself, you have access to internet. You are not living in some village, or you're not living way in some area where where you lack resources. You have Wikipedia and all these things. Don't be lazy, and don't be a hypocrite just because somebody tweeted it or somebody just posted it up on Twitter or Facebook or social media or whatever, a news piece or a feedback piece, and you just or be too quick to just judge it based on that. Don't be that. Go and research on that news a bit and internalize it a bit. Form your own conclusion rather than just believing it. Don't be lazy. If you are being lazy, you are kind of enabling what Levy and his board wants to do. They just want you all to be lazy. They just want you all to believe what they spread in media and blame manager, blame players, and all those things and stuff like that, and don't have a dig on Levy and Inik. It is a problem right now, and as fan base, I can only request that we think critically. We we address some of our own issues as well as fan base. I think we need to be a bit more sound minded when it comes to analyzing certain situations. Yesterday's loss is purely the result of Levy and Inik's ignorance. They have been pretty ignorant about the problems that we have in the squad. Backline, for one, is one. Midfield is another one because midfield in the midfield we do lack depth. Um, Although yes, that yeah, maybe January was not the time to address it for the midfield one, but backline should have been addressed. Where the credit is due, I will give him a credit. Yes, Pedro Porro is a good signing, and I think as fans we now need to trust in him, because this is another problem that Inik and Levy has. They will give you one good player, and let's say once they are having a bad time, the fan base would have a dig at that player rather than Inik and Levy, because they give you Pedro Porro for like after 31 days and all that nonsense, and then when he will not perform, that you'll have a dig at him because okay, Levy has given us Pedro Porro, so he has given you Pedro Porro, but he has actually robbed you of the centre backs that he could have given you. Realize that. Wake up. Wake up. That's all I have to share for now, and I'll be uploading my videos for the coming week. On one would be on the Champions League game that will be out tomorrow. I think early morning for those of you in UK and evening for those of you in Asia Pacific region. And I think it will be late night or very early morning for those of you in US of A. Um, I'll be at Spursuation to analyze the Milan game and also to to share my thoughts on the Leicester game. Tomorrow it would be I think 2:30 GMT. I'll be at Spursuation TV, so you can go and subscribe to my friend Eugene's channel on Spursuation TV. I'll be there with them and sharing my thoughts on the game. Um, that's all for now for Leicester afterthoughts. As you all can see, I'm pretty disappointed. I'm pretty angry. I'm not very angry at you guys as fans, although I may sound to a certain extent that yeah, I'm angry. Yeah, I mean I'm a little bit pissed at certain people when they actually post some really stupid things on Twitter or when they make some really stupid remarks on Twitter. It really pisses me off, yes, to those of you, but I'm not generally angry on every one of you or every one of the fans. Some of you are really good. Some of you are you really think critically or you're really very sound. Uh, but those of you who enable and create this kind of havoc on Twitter, on social media, and you enable Levy and Nini to make the kind of choices or the kind of stupid choices that they make in the windows, uh, I have said my piece of mind about you guys. You all need to wake up. Don't be lazy. Be a bit more sound minded. And as always, come on, you Spurs.